When did the golden child realize they weren't special and completely melt down? Story 1. Throwaway because my sister knows my main. Growing up, my older sister Hannah could have committed arson and my parents would have asked if the fire provoked her. I was the built-in audience, scapegoat, and errand boy rolled into one. Hannah was the brilliant one. Drama club star, gifted, always needing quiet to focus on her art. Meanwhile, I worked part-time through college because my parents couldn't afford to help both kids. Fast forward. Dad dies suddenly. Mom passed years before. Hannah sweeps in from her big city apartment like a celebrity, telling everyone how hard this all is on her. She assumes she's getting the house because Dad always said I'd never have to worry about money. We meet at the lawyer's office. It's me, Hannah, and Mr. Klein, Dad's lawyer. Hannah actually arrives late, sunglasses on indoors, talking loudly on the phone about some audition. Klein starts reading. Small bequests, some donations. Then he gets to the big part. To my son, Mark, who was there when I was sick, who handled my appointments and bills. I leave the house, the savings, and the life insurance policy. Hannah laughs. Actually laughs. There must be a mistake, she says. Dad promised me the house. He told me he was proud of my talent. Mark doesn't even like this place. Klein, very calmly, says there have been multiple updated wills, and this is the most recent. Signed after Dad's last hospital stay. Witnessed. Notarized. Hannah's face does something I've never seen. It empties. No confident smirk, no performance. Just panic. He only changed it because Mark guilt-tripped him, she snaps. Everyone knows I'm the one who made him proud. I'm special. He always said that. Klein clears his throat and pulls out a letter. Your father asked me to read this if there were any scenes, he says, side-eyeing Hannah. The letter is short. Dad thanks me for showing up when it mattered, and says he regrets how one child was placed on a pedestal at the cost of the other. Then there's one line that hits like a truck. Hannah, I love you, but life is not a stage, and you are not the main character. Hannah loses it. She screams that Klein is lying, that I forged it, that Dad would never say that. She knocks over a chair, sends a stack of files flying, and tries to grab the letter from my hands. Klein threatens to call security. The meltdown goes on long enough that the receptionist actually does call the cops. They escort her out while she's sobbing. I'm supposed to be the one he chose. I'm the special one. I deserve it. In that cramped office with 2 bored cops and a shaken paralegal watching, I realized this was the first time in her life someone with actual authority told her she wasn't special. And for the first time in my life, I watched her world collapse and thought, very quietly, I finally got something she can't take back. Story 2. Posting from a burner because my ex lives on Reddit. My ex-husband, Ethan, was his mom's golden child. Classic case. His younger sister basically raised herself while their mom funded Ethan's entrepreneurship and explained away every screw-up. Job hopping? Too talented to stay. DUI? The cop was clearly jealous. When we divorced, his cheating, of course, his mother bankrolled a shark lawyer. The plan was obvious. Paint me as unstable, buy him 50-50 on paper, and then slowly edge me out. Ethan walked into mediation like it was a performance review he'd already passed. Perfect suit, fake concerned smile. Calling the kids my world, like he hadn't forgotten our son's asthma meds 3 times in 1 month. The mediator asks if the kids, 9M and 11F, want to speak. We'd agreed to shield them from this, but my daughter raises her hand. I want to talk, she says. To the judge, the mediator looks surprised but sets it up. Both lawyers agree, because Ethan is convinced he's the fun parent. We go into the courtroom for the official hearing. The judge asks my daughter if she wants both parents there. She glances at me, then at Ethan, sitting there smug, arm around his mother. Yeah, she says. They should hear this. She pulls out a small pink notebook. It's full of dates. This is every time Dad forgot to pick us up, or left us alone at Grandma's while he went out, she says. And these, she holds up her phone, are videos Grandma made of us telling her we like Dad's house more. But she made us delete the ones where we said we wanted to be with Mom. The judge looks at Ethan's lawyer. You can practically hear billable hours screaming. Then my son pipes up, voice shaking. And here's the time he brought a lady over when we were there and told us not to tell Mom because she overreacts. I recorded it. He taps his tablet and you can hear Ethan's voice crystal clear. Ethan's face goes white, then red. His mother stands up and shouts, "They're lying. They're just kids. They don't understand how special their father is." The judge slams the gavel. Sit down, ma'am. The rest is a blur. My lawyer barely has to speak. The judge lectures Ethan on responsibility, manipulation, and parental alienation. Then he says the words I never expected to hear. Primary physical custody to the mother. Supervised visitation for the father, pending parenting classes and review. Ethan erupts. You don't get it, he yells at the judge. I'm a great dad. I provide, my mom helps, the kids love me. They're just confused. I'm not some deadbeat, I'm not. He stops, looks at his mom for backup. She's crying, hand over her mouth. No one is nodding along. The judge just stares. You are not special here, Mr. Carter, the judge says. You are accountable. Security moves closer as Ethan starts cursing under his breath, tears streaming, insisting everyone is against him, that I poisoned the kids. But here's the twist. The meltdown didn't scare the kids. On the way out, my daughter squeezed my hand and said, that's what he's like when grandma isn't there to clap for him. That was the day his golden boy fantasy shattered. And the day our kids stopped clapping too. Story 3. I work at a mid-sized tech company owned by a very rich family. The founder's son, Lucas, was our resident golden child. 0 qualifications, VP title at 27, and the only person I've ever seen fall asleep in a meeting, he called. For years he coasted on vision. Every good idea was magically his. Every failure somehow belonged to whichever manager was closest. Then the founder retired and the board hired an external CEO. Enter Maya. Quiet, brutal, and allergic to bullshit. She announces a big strategy reset, all hands. Whole company on Zoom and in the auditorium. Lucas, of course, strolls on stage late with Starbucks, waving like a celebrity. Maya starts presenting. Revenue trends, churn, product delays. Then she clicks to a slide titled Systemic Issues, right in the middle. Executive unaccountability. I feel 500 people collectively lean forward. We've identified a pattern where projects are approved without oversight and then quietly reassigned when they fail, she says. Investors have asked for specifics, so I'll give them. Next slide. A timeline of half-baked initiatives. Each one has a little icon, a crown icon. This indicates projects initiated without proper review, she says, usually by one executive. She clicks again. The legend appears. Or VP of Strategy, L. Harrison. You could hear a pin drop. Lucas laughs awkwardly. Okay, wow, calling me out, he says into the mic, like it's a roast. Maya doesn't smile. This isn't a roast. This is a performance review. She nods to the AV guy. Suddenly, emails appear on the screen. Actual screenshots. Each one shows Lucas overruling concerns, demanding launches ASAP, promising his dad would handle pushback. Then come the Slack messages. Lucas dumping blame on subordinates, calling 1 p.m. replaceable, bragging that the board won't touch me. He turns to Maya, genuinely confused. Why are we airing this? Talk to me after. We'll sort it out. My dad. Your father resigned from the board this morning, she cuts in. Effective immediately. The room gasps. Lucas's face completely collapses. That's not... He wouldn't... I'm your link to him, he stammers. Maya tilts her head. I was hired because of him. To fix this. The protection is over. She announces that several roles are under review and that one executive is being terminated for cause today. Everyone knows who she means. Lucas goes full meltdown. You can't fire me. I am this company. I built... Legal will walk you through what you actually built, Maya says. 2 security guys appear at the edge of the stage. He looks out at the crowd, searching for allies. For years, people have laughed at his jokes, backed his ideas because it was safer. Nobody moves. Someone in the back actually starts clapping. It spreads, uneven at first, then loud enough that you can't hear what Lucas is yelling anymore. Later, the rumor mill says his dad told him, I gave you every chance. You proved you're not special. You're just expensive. Watching him being walked out, I realized the most brutal part wasn't losing the job. It was seeing for the first time that without daddy's money and everyone's fear, he was just another guy screaming in a room full of people who'd finally muted him. Story 4. I, 17F, am the daughter of a former golden child. My Aunt Claire is my grandmother's sun, moon, and rising sign. My dad is the other one. Growing up, every holiday was a slideshow of Claire's achievements. Grandma had framed newspaper clippings of Claire's middle school spelling bee. My dad's promotion? That's nice, dear, over dishwashing. Thing is, Claire never really grew out of being 16. She still calls Grandma to tattle on people, still expects applause for basic adulting. She also has a habit of treating me like a supporting character in The Claire Show. Last month, Grandma decided we needed a formal family dinner because she had big news. We all dress up. Claire arrives late, dramatic entrance as usual. Halfway through dinner, Grandma stands, tapping her glass. I've decided on my power of attorney and who will be making decisions for me if anything happens, she announces, smiling at Claire like she's about to put a crown on her head. I've filed the paperwork. Claire preemptively dabs her eyes. I know this is a big responsibility, she says. But it's me, my dad blurts, shocked. She picked me. Everyone stares. Dad looks like someone handed him the sun by mistake. Claire laughs. Mom, stop. Don't joke about that. I've always handled your stuff. I'm obviously the best choice. Grandma clears her throat. I'm not joking. I talked to my lawyer. It's done. She glances at me. And if something happens to your father, it goes to Lily, too. Me? Claire's smile doesn't slip at first. It fractures. You trust him more than me? She demands. And a teenager over your own daughter? I've always been the one you rely on. Grandma looks tired. No, you've always been the one who insists I rely on you. Then she says it. I love you, but you make everything about you. Decisions, emergencies, even my doctor visits turn into your drama. I need people who will do what's best for me, not what makes them feel special. It's like someone unplugged Claire from the wall. She goes red. So this is because of them, she says, pointing at me and Dad. They've been poisoning you. Dad always said I was the responsible one. He told me I was the rock of this family. Grandma's voice shakes. Your father wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. One of them was putting you on a pedestal and letting your brother think he was less than. I'm not repeating it with my granddaughter. Claire erupts. She starts listing everything she's done for this family. Organizing holidays, picking out grandma's clothes, choosing restaurants like she's single-handedly running the UN. When that doesn't land, she turns to me. You think you're so grown up because you drive grandma to appointments? You have no idea how much responsibility this is. You'll screw it up and come crawling to me. I look at Grandma, who nods. So I say, as calmly as I can, if you were really doing it for her, you wouldn't be this angry. It's not you. Silence. Claire knocks over her wine, grabs her purse, and screams, if I'm so too much for you all, plan your own damn holidays. She slams the door so hard a picture frame falls off the wall. One of her spelling bee photos. Grandma flinches, then exhales like she's been holding her breath for 40 years. You know what the saddest part is? She says quietly. She doesn't care that I'll be old and scared in a hospital someday. She only cares that she won't be the star of it. That was the night I realized the golden child doesn't just melt down when the spotlight moves. They melt down when they finally understand the spotlight was never supposed to be theirs in the first place. Story 5. I used to mod for a mid-tier lifestyle influencer, Jules. Online, she was girl boss R soft life. Offline, she was a classic golden child propped up by her parents' money and trauma dumping on anyone within range. Her parents funded everything. Apartment, equipment, even the small business she claimed to bootstrap. Her little brother Max did her editing for free while she called it great exposure, babe. She treated followers like an endless applause track and family like unpaid staff. But she had this one narrative, that she'd escaped her toxic family with no support. It played really well on TikTok. Max finally snapped when she refused to pay him for a huge brand campaign and then bought a designer bag for the haul. He messaged me privately. You know she lies about our family, right? He sends receipts, bank transfers from their parents, texts of her bullying her mom, screenshots of her bragging that her fans eat up the trauma stuff. I told him I was done covering for her, but I also knew if I posted anything, I'd be nuked. He says he'll handle it. A week later, she announces a big live Q&A. Let's talk family betrayal. Thumbnail is her fake crying. 10 minutes in, she's telling 12K viewers about how her parents never showed up, how she made it on her own. I'm watching from mod view, comment feed flying. Then a new account starts spamming messages. Show them the group chat, Jules. Tell them who paid your rent last year. Tell them who edited your I cut off my toxic mom video. She ignores it, but chat doesn't. People start asking. Super chats come in demanding answers. The account drops a link. It's a Google Drive full of screenshots. Her thanking her mom for paying her deposit, calling her followers gullible, complaining that her fans expect her to be grateful when I'm the main character here. Her face drains, live on camera as she clicks. Okay, this is like fake, she stammers. Clearly edited. People are jealous because I'm successful, and then Max joins the live using the guest feature. His username? Her old childhood nickname for him. Hey sis, he says. Remember me? The unpaid intern. Chat explodes. He calmly confirms it's all real. Names specific dates. Mentions the time she made their mom redo a birthday cake because it wasn't aesthetic enough for the grid. Jules starts sobbing. Not quiet tears. full-on messy crying. "You're ruining my career," she screams. "Do you know who I am? I'm the reason you even have followers. I'm the special one. She stops, realizing 12K people just heard that. Comments turn. Sponsors get tagged. Unfollowed. "This is gross. You exploited trauma for clout. For the first time, there's no flood of OMG queen. We support you." Just silence and the occasional yikes. She keeps pleading. With Max, with the chat, with the algorithm. "You guys don't understand my feelings, my story." But the numbers on the screen don't care. The viewer count drops, and with it, the illusion. The live ends abruptly. Later, Max messages me. She blocked me. Mom says she's screaming that the internet turned on the main character. The twist? Brands didn't just quietly drop her. One of them released a statement saying they'd decided not to continue the partnership after learning of deceptive behavior toward followers and family. For once in her life, the story wasn't edited, filtered, or framed around her. It was just raw footage of a golden child realizing, in front of thousands of people, that the world is not her audience. And unlike her videos, she doesn't get to reshoot that meltdown. Story 6. Throwaway because my family follows my main. My cousin Zoe was the family's golden child. First granddaughter, cutest baby, destined for greatness, according to my aunt. Every birthday was a production. Every accomplishment, no matter how small, got a Facebook essay and a balloon arch. When she announced her wedding, it turned into a year-long royal coronation. Bride, on a budget, but her parents covered the venue, dress, photographer, honeymoon, and probably the moon if she'd asked. Her fiancé, Tom, is a quiet, sweet guy who works IT and clearly worships her. The rest of us were set dressing. I'm a DJ on the side, so of course I got voluntold to run the music as my gift to Zoe. Translation? Unpaid, with a minute-by-minute schedule she approved. She'd even scripted how I was supposed to introduce her and Tom into the reception like some influencer vlog. Here's where it goes sideways. 2 nights before the wedding, I'm queuing up her special playlist folder she sent me. It's a bunch of labeled tracks and one unlabeled video file buried at the bottom. I assume it's a dance rehearsal or something. Click it, and watch Zoe, very drunk, on some random dude's lap at a bachelorette pre-party. She's laughing about Tom. "He's boring but stable," she slurs. "I'll have fun now and lock down the mortgage later." In the background, a friend says, "What if he finds out?" And she goes, "Please, my parents would bury him before they let anything ruin my wedding." Timestamp. 3 weeks ago. I don't sleep that night. I debate telling Tom, telling my aunt, deleting it, pretending I never saw it. In the end, I do nothing, because I'm a coward, and also I know if I say anything, the whole family will skin me alive. Wedding day. Ceremony goes fine. Reception starts. Zoe is glowing. Tom looks like a golden retriever in a suit. Halfway through dinner, I get a frantic text from an unknown number. Play the last video in the folder when the maid of honor finishes her speech. Don't change anything. Please. I look up. The maid of honor is Zoe's ex-best friend, Nina, who mysteriously got demoted to just a bridesmaid a month ago after some fight no one would explain. My stomach drops. I know exactly what that video is. I should say no. I should stop this. But then I remember Zoe laughing about using Tom for a mortgage and how my aunt screamed at my sister last year for making Zoe uncomfortable by being engaged at the same time. Nina finishes her speech. Everyone claps. I hit play. The projector behind the head table flickers on. There's Zoe on screen, in a tiara and sash, on that guy's lap, saying the line about Tom being boring but stable. The room goes dead silent. You can even hear the little audio echo from the speakers. On stage, Zoe freezes. Tom doesn't move. My aunt stands up so fast her chair falls over. "What is this?" "Turn it off!" she shrieks at me. I don't touch anything. It's 38 seconds long. It feels like 38 years. The clip ends. Lights come back. No one breathes. Tom stands up slowly, takes off his wedding ring, and sets it in front of Zoe. Very calmly, he says, "You and your parents can keep the show. I'm done being the prop." Then he walks out. No yelling, no drama. Just gone. Zoe detonates. She screams at Nina, at me, at the venue staff. She demands her parents fix this, demands the projector be confiscated for evidence, insists that everyone knows she's special and that people shouldn't judge her for one little mistake. My aunt tries to grab the mic and order everyone to stay because this wedding is still happening. Half the guests quietly leave. The other half watch like it's live theater. The punchline? When Zoe finally realizes Tom isn't coming back, she screams at my aunt, You promised me nothing bad would ever happen to me. You promised. And my aunt, the woman who spent 27 years treating her like royalty, just stares at her and says, in this tiny, cracked voice, I can't make people love you, baby. That's the only time I've ever seen Zoe look truly shocked. Because for the first time in her life, her parents' protection bounced off reality and didn't leave a dent. Story 7. I'm the former best friend of a golden child, and I watched her entire world collapse in the ugliest student services office you can imagine. We'll call her Priya. Her parents were both alumni of our university and donors on top of that. Growing up, she was the perfect daughter. Straight A's, 3 instruments, captain of debate. Every time we hung out at her house, her mom would pat her head like a show dog and say, my brilliant girl. She's special, not like the others. I was the others. We both got into the same competitive program. I scraped in with loans and a part-time job. Priya got a full ride plus a merit award that mysteriously came with a handwritten note from the dean. First semester, I noticed something off. She never pulls all-nighters. She goes out 3 times a week. She turns in perfect essays after binge-watching shows all weekend. I figured she was just smarter. Then one night I accidentally see her email drafts on our shared tablet. She'd logged in and left it. There's a whole thread between her and her mom. Mom, send me the prompt before you submit. Priya, Prof wants a personal reflection this time. I can't just have you write it. Mom, of course we can. We're not wasting your potential over one sentimental assignment. Attached are Word docs labeled Midterm Ethics Final, written by Mom. Like, obviously by Mom. Different tone completely. I confront Priya. She shrugs. Everyone gets help, she says. My help just happens to be better. Dad donates a lab wing. Mom polishes my work. It's all the same game. Second year, we get a new department head who is big on academic integrity. They implement random oral exams to verify written work. If they pull your name, you have to go in and explain your paper face to face. Guess whose name gets drawn? We're sitting in the waiting area outside the department head's office. Priya is oddly calm, scrolling her phone, saying her parents will handle it if anything happens. The door opens. The department head, Dr. Alvarez, invites her in. I go to leave, but he stops me. You were listed as her study partner. I'd like you to stay, he says. He starts asking Priya simple questions about her most recent paper. She stumbles. He asks her to define a term she used in the conclusion. She gives the wrong field entirely. He slides a folder across the desk. These are stylometric analyses comparing your essays to your mother's published work, he says. And this is the IT log showing your papers being uploaded from her home computer in another city at 3 a.m. Priya laughs. Like, actually laughs in his face. My mom is an alum and a donor, she says. You really think you can accuse her of cheating? Dr. Alvarez pauses, then drops the real bomb. She called us first, he says. She sent the files herself and admitted she crossed a line trying to live through you. She asked that we give you a chance to own up. Priya's whole face changes. For the first time in our entire friendship, I see genuine terror. She wouldn't, she whispers. She needs me to succeed. I'm her special one. He nods. She cried for an hour. She said, I ruined my daughter by making her think she never had to earn anything. When he explains the consequences, scholarship revoked, suspension on record, possible expulsion, Priya explodes. She screams that this is classist, that they're jealous, that everyone plagiarizes, that they're ruining a brilliant future out of spite. She accuses them of racism, of targeting donors, of being threatened by her potential. Security eventually has to be called when she starts ripping her own essays off the bulletin board. I walk her back to the dorm in silence. She keeps saying, it'll be fine, they'll fix it, you'll see, like a mantra. The next day, her dad texts her. She shows me sobbing. We can't make this disappear. We're sorry. You need to figure out who you are without the shortcuts. She drops out before the hearing. The part that still haunts me, she didn't cry because she'd cheated or because she'd disappointed herself. She cried because for the first time her parents didn't show up with a magic eraser. They just let the stain stay. Story 8. I was the backup quarterback to a golden child. Our town lives and dies by high school football. My teammate, Dylan, was a legend before he ever took a varsity snap. His dad was a former NFL practice squad guy who never shut up about genetics and greatness. The local paper called Dylan the Prodigy at 15. I was the kid whose parents worked double shifts and hoped I wouldn't get concussed. Dylan could skip practice, mouth off to teachers, show up hungover, didn't matter. Coaches shrugged it off because he's special, and we build winners, not choir boys. Senior year, scouts start coming. Real ones. Dylan's ego goes from huge to planetary. He starts calling audibles that aren't in the playbook, going for risky throws just to pad his highlight reel. One game, he ignores a run call, fakes, and throws into triple coverage. Our star receiver gets laid out and tears his ACL. Season ending. In the locker room after, coach is shaking with rage. Dylan shrugs. Recruiters want to see my arm, not Tyler's knees, he says. Relax, we still won. Tyler is on a bench in the corner, sobbing into a towel. The next week, we have a home game with 3 colleges in the stands. Stadium full, marching band loud, whole town there. Right before kickoff, the principal, athletic director, and coach call a closed-door meeting with Dylan and his parents. I'm not in there, but I can hear yelling through the cinder block. You're not benching my son, his dad roars. He is this program. The door opens. Dylan storms out, helmet in hand, eyes wild. His dad follows, red-faced, ready to fight someone. Coach calls the team together. Effective immediately, Dylan's been suspended for the rest of the season for repeated violations of team rules, he says. Jay, he looks at me. You're starting. I honestly think my soul left my body for a second. Dylan laughs like it's a prank. Okay, cool joke. Can we get serious? He says. My offers. The athletic director cuts in. The offers have been rescinded, she says. The colleges received the disciplinary record and the game footage you refuse to follow plays. They're not interested. Turns out the school had sent not just his highlight reel, but unedited footage plus reports of him ignoring calls and endangering players. One program actually emailed back saying they don't recruit lone wolves. Dylan collapses into a folding chair. Then comes the meltdown. He screams at coach, calls him a small town nobody jealous of my future. He tells the AD she's ruining the town's only shot at a pro. He shoves his helmet into a locker so hard it dents. The whole team is watching. His dad starts yelling about lawsuits, about breach of promise, about, we carried this team for years. Coach just quietly says, you carried your son. We carried the team around him. Here's the twist. Tyler, on crutches, in street clothes, limps up, tosses his jersey at Dylan's feet and says, if you were really special, you wouldn't need everyone else to risk their bodies for your ego. Then he turns and joins the rest of us on the sideline. We win that game. Not because I'm amazing. I'm not. But because the whole team plays like they're finally allowed to. Afterward, I see Dylan sitting alone in the bleachers, his dad pacing and yelling into the phone, his mom crying quietly. For the first time, nobody is crowding around him for selfies or pats on the back. The stadium lights go off one by one, and it hits me. That was the night he realized the spotlight only feels warm as long as someone is paying the electric bill. And his just got cut. Story 9. I'm dating the ex-best friend of a golden child, and I accidentally watched her meltdown in real time. Backstory. My girlfriend Sam used to be part of this super tight friend group in high school or college. At the center was Bella, the self-appointed queen bee. Her parents were loaded, she was pretty, loud, and convinced the world was her movie set. She curated everything, vacations, outfits, even how they posted on social media. If someone dyed their hair without checking with her aesthetic, she'd sulk for days. Everyone just let her, because she paid for stuff and could make your life miserable. The group stuck together mostly via a giant group chat that had existed for 8 years. Think digital shrine to Bella's main character syndrome. I join the picture when I start dating Sam. I immediately notice Sam's phone blowing up constantly. Muted notifications from that chat. She never engages unless it's logistics. One night I ask why she's still in it. Easier than leaving, she says. Bella makes it a war if anyone abandons her. Then something happens. One of the quieter girls, Jo, gets engaged. She posts a picture in the group chat. Simple ring, backyard proposal. Everyone sends congrats except Bella. Bella writes, "Aw, cute. Now let me help you plan so it's not like tacky." "No offense," Jo replies. "Actually, I kind of want to do it my own way." And for the first time, the group backs her up. "Yeah, Jo's got this. Let her have her day." Bella goes weirdly silent. Later that night, my girlfriend shows me her phone with shaking hands. The group chat has a new message. From Bella, accidentally sent as a voice note instead of typed. It's clearly meant for a side chat. They're all so ungrateful. I built this friend group. Without me, they'd be weird loners. If they don't want my help, they can enjoy their ugly lives. I swear, sometimes I think I should just start over with better people who understand I'm the glue here. 10 seconds of pure bile. No one responds. We watch the typing bubble pop up, vanish, pop up again. Then, OMG, wrong chat. LOL. Obvi, I was joking. Love you guys. Still nothing. Slowly, one by one, people leave the chat. You can see it. Claire left. Joe left. Mina left. It's like a building emptying in an emergency. My girlfriend looks at me, takes a breath, and hits leave conversation. We think that's the end of it. Nope. 20 minutes later, my phone rings. Unknown number. I decline. It rings again. This time, Sam picks up on speaker. It's Bella, sobbing and screaming at the same time. Put her on, she demands. Put him on. He's turning you against me. You can't all leave. I made you. This is my friend group. You can't just walk away, Sam says calmly. You're not the owner of people, B. You're having a tantrum because we don't orbit you anymore, Sam says. We're not characters. We're just done. Bella loses it. She cycles through begging, threatening, guilt-tripping. Remember when I paid for your trip? I could ruin you. You're my best friend. You can't abandon me. Her voice cracks on best. Then there's a beep. Another call is coming in. It's Joe, FaceTiming Sam. She answers and holds it up so I'm in frame too. It's a grid of faces. Everyone from the old chat, laughing and talking over each other. They made a new group. Without Bella. Sam mutes her and says, We already moved, B. You're just yelling in an empty room now. That lands like a punch. There's this horrible, wet silence. Then she whispers, But I'm the glue, Sam says. If you were, we wouldn't have stuck better without you. She hangs up. The new group chat dings to life, full of random memes and wedding plans and holy crap, did that just happen? No one mentions Bella again. The messed up part? Her meltdown wasn't scary. It was sad. Because for the first time, the golden child realized, if everyone walks out of your movie, it's not a film anymore. It's just one actor, alone on stage, screaming at empty seats. Story 10. I'm the younger brother of a golden child raised in church. Our dad is the senior pastor of a mid-sized congregation. My older brother, Aaron, was the crown prince. From baby dedications to youth sermons, everyone called him anointed. People joked he'd inherit the pulpit like it was a family business. Meanwhile, I ran sound, stacked chairs, and apparently existed for contrast. Aaron could do no wrong. When he borrowed church funds for a mission trip and somehow came back with new shoes, Dad smoothed it over. When he yelled at volunteers, they got reminded to respect leadership. When he crashed the church van, the board paid the deductible and we all prayed about attacks from the enemy. I thought that's just how it was. Then Dad had a minor stroke. He recovered mostly, but it scared the board enough to start talking succession planning. Everyone assumed they'd rubber stamp Aaron. Instead, the board announces a special congregational meeting to discuss leadership structure. Rumors explode. The night of the meeting, the fellowship hall is packed. Old ladies with casseroles, youth with hoodies, deacons in their good suits. Aaron sits up front next to Dad, wearing his favorite preaching jacket like he's already on the job. A board member, Mr. Lee, clears his throat and says they've been reviewing finances and leadership reports in preparation for the future. He clicks a laptop. Numbers appear on the projector. Line items are highlighted. Youth ministry discretionary spending. It's a lot. Then he shows screenshots. Amazon orders shipped to our home address for ministry supplies that are clearly gaming consoles, clothes, and random gadgets. All approved by Aaron. Aaron laughs it off. Hey, we use some of that for youth nights, he says. We need to be relevant, right? Mr. Lee doesn't smile. We also have multiple reports of you telling volunteers they had to buy you things personally if they wanted positions, including this text. They read it aloud. If you can't sew into your leader's life, are you even submitted? Whispers ripple through the room. Aaron's confident mask cracks. Why are we doing this here? He snaps. If Dad has an issue, he can talk to me at home. Dad looks old, tired, like the stroke aged him a decade. I did talk to you, Dad says quietly. You called it persecution. Then he drops the bomb. The board voted not to recommend Aaron as successor. They want to move to a plurality of elders with rotating preachers. No more crown prince. Aaron stands up so fast his chair skids back. You can't do that. This is my inheritance, he says. God called me. People here know I'm chosen. Right, Dad? Dad flinches at the word inheritance. I called you, he says, voice breaking. I told you since you were little that you were special, that this would all be yours. I thought I was encouraging you. I was wrong. Aaron's face goes red. He starts pacing, gesturing wildly. These people need a strong leader, not a committee, he shouts. They need me. Without me, this place will fall apart. You're all ungrateful. I built this youth group. I kept this church relevant. One of the ushers, a woman who's volunteered since before we were born, stands up. You didn't build this, she says. We did. You just took the bow every Sunday. That hits him harder than the financial stuff. He totally unravels then. He screams that they're staging a coup. that God will judge them, that they're crucifying him. He points at random members listing everything he's done for them like a receipt. People start quietly gathering their things, not storming out, just done. The board proposes a motion to remove him from paid leadership and ask him to step back from ministry for a season. It passes with a tired, overwhelming majority. Here's the twist. After the meeting, I find him alone in the dark sanctuary, staring at the empty stage. They can't do this, he says. I am the church. No, I say, and it feels like betrayal and relief all at once. You're Dad's son, and so am I. And this is just a building if we ruin people in it. He looks at me like he's seeing me for the first time. You really think they'll be okay without me? He asks. I glance back at the fellowship hall, where people are stacking chairs together, laughing softly, making coffee. They already are, I say. He finally cries then. Not angry, not performative. Just lost. And that's when it hits me. The real meltdown wasn't about losing a job or a title. It was about a golden child realizing that the kingdom he thought he ruled was never actually his. It was a community that had finally remembered it could choose its own shepherds. Story 11. I'm a public defender. This is about my most memorable golden child meltdown. Client was Rachel, 24, arrested for her third DUI, this time with a parked car sideswiped and a pedestrian with a broken arm. No prior convictions, though, because Daddy's money, plus private attorneys, plus promising future speeches, had always made things disappear. Her parents come to our first meeting in designer clothes, carrying Starbucks, acting like we're planning a semester abroad, not a criminal case. Her mom. We're used to a certain standard. Her usual lawyer is on vacation, but we'll be replacing you once he's back, Dad. No offense, we just want the best for our girl. She's special. They're shocked when I explain the DA is done. The injured pedestrian is a nurse with a spotless record and they're pissed. The DA is offering a plea. No prison, but felony, 5 years probation, mandatory alcohol program, and, importantly, no more driving for a long time. This will destroy her life, her mom hisses. She needs a clean record, I say as gently as I can. She almost killed someone. The last 2 times were reduced. The court sees a pattern. This is the break. They assume Daddy can fix it. Daddy starts calling people. The DA doesn't budge. Judge is known for being especially harsh with repeat DUIs. Day of the plea hearing, we're in a little conference room next to the courtroom. Rachel is scrolling TikTok, doing lip bites into her front camera. Her parents are whisper arguing about whether they can move to Europe if they make this stick. I slide the plea paperwork over. This is the best you'll get, I say. If you reject it and lose at trial, you're looking at actual prison time. Rachel barely glances at it. I'll just do what I did last time, she says. Sign whatever and Daddy will clean it. I'm not a criminal. I'm a good person. Her dad clears his throat. Rach, we can't afford another private attorney. The last cases, the settlements. He looks 10 years older. We refinanced the house. Your brother's college fund is gone. She freezes. What? Her mom jumps in. It's fine, honey. Your brother will understand. He's not like you. He doesn't need a big degree, I say quietly. He actually called my office. He's enlisted. He didn't apply to college because there's nothing left. That's when the DA knocks to say the judge is ready. We have minutes to decide. I look at Rachel. If you reject this, I'll try my best at trial. But best case, you still get the felony. Worst case, you go to prison. There is no daddy fix this time. The nurse has a lawyer. The media is watching repeat DUIs. Her parents are suddenly very, very quiet. For the first time, I see understanding flicker. Then she explodes. She screams at her dad for letting money run out, at her mom for lying about how serious things were, at me for siding with them. She kicks the table so hard the water cups spill. I'm the one with a future, she sobs. You were supposed to protect me. You were supposed to make sure nothing bad sticks to me. Her dad snaps. Not angry, just done. It stuck to that nurse, he says. She can't lift patience anymore. It's time it sticks to you. In the end, she takes the plea. No cameras, no public spectacle. Just a terrified young woman signing her name and quietly losing the invincibility her parents wrapped around her. The twist? As we walk into the courtroom, I see the nurse sitting there with her arm in a brace. Next to her is a teenage boy in a cheap suit, Rachel's younger brother. He doesn't look at Rachel once. He looks at the nurse. Story 12. I live in a suburban neighborhood with an HOA that takes itself way too seriously. At the top of that petty pyramid was Kyle. Technically, he was just the 30-something son living in his parents' McMansion. But his dad had been HOA president since the 90s, and everyone treated Kyle like the crown prince. He drove his dad's old Porsche, wrote snippy violation letters about trash cans, and called himself the aesthetic director of the street. 2 inches of grass too tall? He'd snap a photo. Halloween decor, too gory? He'd send a warning. Meanwhile, his own flaming tiki torches and 3 a.m. pool parties somehow weren't against community values. Then his parents retired to Florida and officially sold him the house for $1, according to neighborhood gossip. The HOA presidency passed to him like we were in feudal Europe. He immediately proposed Project Vision TM, tear down his perfectly fine backyard and build a 2-story glass wellness pavilion that would block 3 neighbors' sunlight and loom over the shared playground. His justification? I'm turning my property into a lifestyle destination, which raises all your home values. We packed the next HOA meeting. Kyle stood at the front with a PowerPoint about modern luxury experiences. Every slide was basically photos of influencer mansions and infinity pools. At the end, he smirked and said, "Anyway, the board already approved this informally. Tonight is just to keep everyone in the loop." Our quiet next-door neighbor, Mrs. Chen, raised her hand. "That's funny," she said, "because the City Planning Commission hasn't approved it. And I sit on that commission." She pulls out copies of a letter from the city. The variance was denied last week. Too tall, too invasive, bad for drainage. You could feel the room snap. People start talking over each other. "So you lied? You thought you'd bulldoze us?" Of course they rejected that monstrosity. Kyle turns red. "Relax, it's a formality," he says. "My dad always got things through. I'll call the city manager. They love us. They know who we are." Mrs. Chen looks him dead in the eye. "They know exactly who you are," she says. "And your father called today. He told them to treat you like any other applicant." Kyle stares at her like she's speaking Martian. "My dad would never—" Her phone dings. She glances at it. "He also just emailed his resignation from the HOA and nominated me for president," she adds. The board accepted 5 minutes before this meeting. She turns to the table of board members. First order of business. Motion to revoke Project Vision TM permit. The vote is almost gleefully unanimous. Kyle erupts. He shouts that we're jealous, that we're small-minded suburbanites, that his family built this neighborhood, and we should be grateful he's trying to elevate it. He threatens lawsuits, says he'll have our property values so low we'll beg him to buy us out. He gets so loud that someone actually calls the non-emergency line. A cop shows up, more amused than anything. Here's the punchline. As Kyle is mid-rant, his phone rings. It's on Bluetooth to the room speaker he'd used for his presentation. He accidentally hits accept. His dad's voice booms out, "If you yell at those people one more time, I'm cutting you off and selling the house. You hear me?" Dead. Silence. Kyle fumbles to hang up, face white. Everyone had always assumed his power came from being special. Turns out, it came from a mortgage someone else controlled. Story 13. I, 28F, am the scapegoat younger sister of a golden child. The moment he realized he wasn't special happened in family therapy, of all places. My brother Noah was the miracle baby. Premature, spent time in the NICU, survived. Our parents turned that into a personality for him. Every mistake? We're just so grateful he's alive. Every achievement? He's destined for something big. He almost didn't make it. I was the easy child. Translation. Ignored until they needed someone to brag that Noah read my books first. By adulthood, Noah was a charming disaster. Dropped out of 2 colleges, burned through 3 careers, moved back home to reset multiple times. Every time, my parents rearranged their lives to cushion his fall. When he borrowed my credit card, I was told not to press charges because he's fragile. When I moved out, Mom sobbed that I was abandoning Noah. Last year, things blew up. Dad had a health scare, Mom got overwhelmed, and Noah forgot to pay their electric bill for 3 months. Power got shut off. I only found out when my boss saw my parents sitting in the lobby of my office building, charging their phones. I lost it. There was a screaming match in the parking lot. Dad, shaking, asked us all to try family therapy before this kills me faster than the cholesterol. Therapist's office is small, neutral, safe. She has plants. Feels like nothing truly awful can happen surrounded by succulents. Session 3, she asks us to do an exercise. Everyone states 1 resentment and 1 appreciation. I go first. I say I resent always being the backup plan and appreciate that my parents at least showed up to therapy. Mom says she resents the distance between us and appreciates Noah's sensitive heart. Of course, Noah says he resents feeling constantly judged and appreciates that our parents never gave up on him. Then it's Dad's turn. He stares at his hands for a long time. I resent myself, he says, for telling Noah over and over that he was more important than anyone else. For letting him believe other people exist to catch him when he falls. Noah laughs awkwardly. Okay, that's dramatic. Therapist asks Dad. And appreciation? Dad looks at me. I appreciate that when the power went out, the first person I thought to call was my daughter, not my son, he says, because I knew she would actually show up. Everything stops. Noah goes stone still, then turns to Dad. What are you saying? He demands. I always show up. I am literally living with you to help. My entire life is about this family. Therapist, gently, do you feel you're helping? Or that they're helping you? He snaps at her, but Dad keeps talking, voice cracking. I almost died, Noah. While your sister was wiring us emergency money, you were asking your mother if you could still go on that guy's trip because you needed a break from the stress, Mom gasps. James, he shakes his head. We made you fragile, he says to Noah. We told you the world revolved around you. It doesn't. And we can't keep pretending it does. Or your sister will leave and never come back. And I wouldn't blame her. Noah detonates. He accuses Dad of rewriting history, Mom of betraying the miracle, me of turning them against him. He shouts about his NICU stories, about how he almost died, and therefore deserves more understanding than normal people. He actually says, normal people. Therapist lets him go for a while, then quietly asks, do you think almost dying once gives you permission to never fully live with others? Only above them? He falters. For a second, I see something vulnerable. Then he storms out, slamming the door so hard the diplomas shake. Here's the twist. I expected my parents to run after him. They always do. Instead, they both just sit there. Mom starts crying. Not dramatic sobs, but small, exhausted tears. Dad reaches for my hand. We can't chase him this time, Dad says. If we do, we're telling him we meant none of this. And for once, I think we did. For the first time, the golden child walked out of the room, and nobody followed.